Ultra Weekly. I'm Pato from the Backyard Ultra podcast, and before I forget, please hit the subscribe button as well as the little alert button. So this weekend there are 10 Backyard Ultras being held across the world in Bolivia, Spain, the UK, France, Switzerland, the USA, Germany and Denmark. The biggest Backyard Ultra by far though is the Dead Cow Gully Masters in Queensland, Australia. 2 years ago, this race saw a new world record of 102 yards set, and in this year's race, the field is even stronger. Former world record holder and defending Masters champion Phil Gore came on, and we had a chat. Hi Phil, how you going?
Hey Pato, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, great, thanks. Not long till Dead Cow Gully.
Yeah, I fly out tomorrow, so yeah, getting pretty close now.
Yeah, awesome. So it's been 2 years since you were there last when you broke the world record at the time when you did 102 hours. I mean, to me, it felt like a different kind of race, like a special kind of race. So do your memories from that experience, do they like chime just a little bit differently compared to memories from other races?
Yeah, it started out just like any other race, but definitely towards the end, it was very different. I think the only other one it compares to for me is when I first broke the Australian record at Hurdy's in 2021.
Mm.
So I did 48 laps there. It was my second backyard ultra. Yeah, got the Australian record and got the win. Um, and then yeah, it's at the time like that was just huge for me, and just crossing that finish line for the last time, such a good feeling. And yeah, very similar to running that last lap at Dead Cow Gully. Yeah, it's just I that last lap on your own is you just want to take it all in, reflect back on how far you've come to get to that point. So yeah, it definitely holds a special place in my heart, that event.
Yeah. And how are you feeling physically and mentally at the moment?
Really good. Like I've done everything that I need to do and that I can do. Yeah, now it's just I'm in taper mode, so I just focus on rest and getting the last bit of my packing and all that organized. I've had some really good runs lately. Yeah, just I did a 50K race just before I started taper, which went really well. I had a 100K training run, which went really well. Sydney Backyard Ultra, which was only, I think, 9 weeks ago. That was a great race for me, and I felt really good at the end of that. I bounced back really well the next day, and my recovery from that has been really good. So yeah, just looking back on my training, I think I put myself in the best spot that I can be. So
Awesome. I mean, to me, it looks like you're more relaxed these days going into races. Like, would you agree? Would you say you're more relaxed these days before a big race?
I still get a little bit of the nerves, like the couple of days before. But as soon as I start that lap one, I just get into my zone. Yeah, definitely a bit more relaxed, and yeah, I just know I follow my process, and it's just basically a game of patience. Just got to stick it out for a long time. But yeah, I've got my process, which has worked really well for me in all my other races. A few little tweaks here and there, but yeah, generally I'm going to these races pretty confident of what I can achieve, and yeah, how well my system's going to work. So
Yeah. So compared to 2 years ago, would you agree that you're a better backyard ultra and maybe just a better runner generally than you were 2 years ago?
yeah, I think definitely. Like I've always been growing and improving. Like the last two backyards I've done, so Sydney and the satellite champs both finished on really high numbers. So yeah, 96 and 81. And for both of those races at the end, I felt really good. I wasn't like struggling to finish the laps. The next day I was still able to get out and run. So yeah, just I think having those two races under the belt has just built my confidence that bit more. And it doesn't seem as overwhelming anymore when I'm looking at those big numbers, because I've done quite a few events now that are, that 80 plus area. And yeah, I think definitely, yeah, since Dead Cow Gully, even though I haven't got back to that PB, I still haven't beaten that 102. I think physically I am a better runner, and I've still learned a lot over that last couple of years. So
Yeah, cool. Now, Tim Walsh has done a really good job attracting the strongest field in Australia for any backyard ultra. And he's referring to the big four as you, Sam Harvey, Moran, and Harvey Lewis. You're the four runners to have broken 100. But the race is so deep with talent. Like, I mean, there's so many runners who have done 50 plus, and there's plenty of runners in the 80s and 90s. But who do you think is capable of sticking around, running a big PB and sticking around with the big dogs deep into the race?
yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people who can. You know, just anyone coming into this event, seeing that there's four people who've done over 100, straight away they're not thinking, they're going to be able to win this with 30 laps or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to have in their head that this race is going to be going on a long time, and you're going to get people get to around the 50 and think, oh, we're not even halfway yet. So they're not going to be mentally tapping out too early. So yeah, I think like we've got the people who are on the Australian team, like Ryan Crawford, James Blanton, John Ash, like all these guys are at Sydney as well. I think that this could be their chance to crack that 100. But I like the idea that yeah, it could be anyone. It could be someone who's run in the 30s or 40s and just hasn't been tested. They haven't had that field to be able to go big with. So yeah, I like Tim Moffat, who won Hurdies with 38. He was looking really good at that point. So I'm excited to see how far he can go. So I mean, 100 might be a big jump from the 30s, but if we look at 2 years ago, Sam went from the 40s to the 100. So yeah, it definitely shows it can be done. There's a lot of people who could get there, and I think just having that field with those 100 plus runners is going to, I think, inspire people to see how far that they can go with them, and if they can hang on to that 100 plus area.
Yeah, awesome. Now, we hear all about like for these races, you need to have a plan that goes for a long time as well. I've heard of other runners plans going to the 140s, 160s. Two parts to this question. How long is your plan, and is it the longest plan you've ever made?
Yeah, so I fly out on the following Sunday. So I'm there for about 8 days. So my plan pretty much goes up until that last moment, until I need to leave to get a flight.
Yeah.
Which is about, I think it's 192 hours, which yes, would be my longest plan. But you know what, if we get to that area and it looks like it's going to keep going, I'm just going to change my flight. Like I'm not going to get to that point and be like, oh no, just stop now because I've got to get a plane. I'll change my flight. I'll be organising things to make sure I can stay there a bit longer.
Yeah, awesome. One of the things I like about watching you, Phil, is that you change your tops and things like that a lot. But I've noticed that the top you wear for a particular milestone like has a meaning behind it. For example, on lap 47, you'll wear BK's t-shirt. I mean, do you have any new t-shirts you're wearing for any new milestones in this race?
I do like to change my tops a lot. I just like to stay fresh, and yeah, I do have tops that have certain meanings to me. But yeah, I mean, the BK is the big one, the 47 lap, and now there's the double BK and potentially the triple BK, so it'll be coming out for those laps as well. The Backyard Ultra Run Club, apparently, like I found out at Sydney that we wear that on lap 4. I don't know why they picked lap 4, but yeah, that's another one. I've got my 24 top, which I wear for lap 24. But yeah, otherwise, like besides those, there's no real specific t-shirt for each lap. I just like to change it around and mix it up. But yeah, other than the tutu on lap 22, and potentially this year lap 122,
Yeah.
I'll be bringing it out for that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Now, one of the things that I've noticed has changed in the last year or two is the way you're crewed. Like Gemma's not there for the whole time anymore. You're working shifts. So have how's your crew going to be working at Dead Cow Gully this weekend?
Yeah, so Jem doesn't actually get there till Sunday morning, so she's going to miss the whole first 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I've got Okana and Callum, who I haven't met Callum, but he sounds like he's an awesome guy. They'll be crewing me from the start. And then when Gemma gets there, they'll be taking it in turns. And I've got Nathan joining as well. So Nathan will be there a little bit later. So yeah, between the four of them, I mean, I like to have two people on at a time, which means, yeah, there's always a chance for someone to go away and make sure that they can have a solid 8 hour sleep as well.
Mm.
And yeah, especially when we're looking at an event that's going to go 4, 5, maybe even longer amount of days. Yeah, it's important that they stay on top of their sleep early.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm so excited, Phil. It's going to be an awesome race to follow, and I'm so happy I'm going to be there to witness it. All the best, and thanks for coming on for a chat.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. I'll see you there.
It sounds good. See you, Phil. Race director Tim Walsh came on as well. Hi, Tim. How you going?
Hey, Pato, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So Dead Cow Gully is running this weekend. Tim, can you tell me about the history of Dead Cow Gully?
Yeah, sure. So I was getting into running myself. I gave up alcohol about 5 years ago, and I wanted to better myself. So I started going to park run, and of course you do a few 5Ks, and then you want to go bigger. So I eventually found half marathons, and then I stumbled across backyard ultras, and Clint Eastwood came up, which was in Brisbane. So I signed up for that, and I basically trained one weekend with the Brisbane Trail Runners and did a few loops of the Clint Eastwood. And everyone was raving about the format, saying how sort of inclusive it was, and everyone feels good and anyone can do it. And then on my drive home, I just couldn't get the idea out of my head about backyard ultras. And then I started thinking, God, I reckon I can do a course at home on my parents' property. And I drove straight home and I just started measuring out the course and trying to find the best route. And it wasn't until probably 3 or 4 days later that I discovered the gully. And I was sort of umming and ahhing, thinking, would people actually run through it? And once I went through it, I just thought, yeah, we have to have this as a part of the course. And hey, that's a pretty good name for an event, Dead Cow Gully.
Yeah, and that Dead Cow Gully was that a long existing name of that actual gully?
Yeah, so I mean, cattle die all the time, unfortunately, in gullies. But yeah, it was fairly recent. So we found a beast there. I don't know, only probably I would have been my late teenage years, so probably about 20 years ago. We found this beast hanging up in tree roots in the gully. It was just quite a vivid memory when I was mustering with Dad, just to see this beast hanging, trapped in tree roots, and it obviously just starved to death. So yeah, that name kind of stuck ever since then. But it isn't like 100 years old; it's probably only like 20 years old.
Yeah, fair enough. And the history of the race, when was the first one? How many have there been? Some notable performances and things like that?
Yeah, Pato. So the first official event was 2021. We started doing training runs, like holding free training runs in 2020, and the race kind of grew from there. COVID hit, so we had 200 people signed up, COVID hit, and then we had about 80 or 90 that first year. But everyone loved it. And it was a big battle between John Pearson and Ryan Crawford. And Ryan came out on top. And then ever since then, I was sort of hooked on the event and its potential. And I think everyone fell in love with the course.
Yeah. And the most notable race there was 2 years ago at the Masters, where the world record was broken by Phil Gore.
That's right. So it was a bit of a risk for me. I wanted to, I reached out to a lot of big names, and Harvey was the one that responded. And he was really easy to talk to, very approachable. And just started chatting with him, developing some sort of relationship. And he finally signed up. And the agreement was that I would pay for him to come out with his crew. I'd pay for the return flights. And he was such a big name in the ultra world and backyard ultra world, and had held the world record previously. So my sort of train of thought, Pato, was if you get Harvey in an event, everyone would lock in behind him. And that's exactly what happened. So Phil Gore signed up, Sam Harvey signed up, and the rest is history, really. And I think that model really works in flying out a big name runner and attracting other runners because of that.
Yeah. So this weekend at Dead Cow Gully, you've used a similar approach, but there's even more overseas runners.
Yeah, there is. There is. So the catch really was to increase the ticket prices quite substantially. So from about, I believe, 200 or 220 to jack it up to 320. And with that extra $100, that was to go towards plane flights. So not only Harvey, but there was about, 4 or 5 different overseas runners coming out. So it's really growing into something pretty cool, Pato. And the more options you have, the better in these races. And I've always said you never really want to rely on that one runner. I think you need many options. And this is probably the best field since Biggs, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Well, the depth is amazing. Like underneath those 4 runners who have done over 100, like Phil Gore, Sam Harvey, Harvey Lewis, and Marin, you've got how many runners have you got that have done over 50, over 40, and over 30, approximately, if you don't know off the top of your head?
I'm not exactly sure. I think there's over 30. I mean, there would have to be at least 40 runners.
Yeah.
There could be more. It could be between 40 to 50 runners who are above 30, which is pretty extraordinary.
Mm.
Pato. So it's as I said in previous social media posts, like the big 4 get the attention, like the 100+ club. They certainly have an aura around them, these guys.
Yeah.
But anyone else below that, I think they would be gunning for these guys. And this is the race to make your name and to really put yourself on the map. So Sam Harvey went from 46 loops. Before the Masters, he was an unknown backyard runner, and he dug his heels in, and he's now become one of the most well-known backyard ultra runners. And that was just an epic race, an epic showdown with Phil, and it was just probably a moment he'll never forget. And I think the backyard ultra world will never forget Sam Harvey's performance with Phil.
Yeah, it was an epic race. And after that race and the doco being released, it must have been a pretty easy sell getting other runners to come over this year.
Yeah, look, a lot of people are flying and paying for it themselves. So that was always the hope, that you would generate enough hype and generate that reputation of throwing down, big totals and having, some of the best runners in the world. So, it's sort of generating its own life now. So we've got a couple of documentary crews who are coming up, and they're paying for it themselves, so I don't have to pay a cent. So that was the hope. You do that initial investment. The doco did cost some money, but now, yeah, it's sort of it has a life of its own now, Pato, which is great.
Yeah. Well, they are the perfect. Well, they're such good run type of races to make a documentary of, because everything stays in the same spot. The runner comes past every hour. Yeah, like I think over the next few years we'll see a lot more backyard ultra documentaries being made.
Oh yeah, I think a point-to-point race would be a nightmare to film. I mean, just the logistics and trying to keep up with runners, and I mean, some vehicles can't even access some of these courses, Pato. But yeah, this is it's very user friendly. Got some guys from Sydney coming up tomorrow night. They're going to be filming Harvey, and his sponsors are paying for the doco. So yeah, they're going to come out a few days before the event, check out the course, know how to access certain locations, and yeah, they'll be raring and good to go.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay. So when does it start and at what time?
So 7 a.m. on the Saturday, that's June 21.
Yeah.
And I believe you're doing a live feed, Pato. So I guess that'll start on the Saturday, or do you think you'll do something on the Friday afternoon?
I'll probably do a bit of a test run on Friday, and I think there'll be something that people can watch. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll do something. Yeah. But yeah, it's all systems go from. I'll probably start at probably about 6:30 on the Saturday morning. It will be on Backyard Ultra Podcast YouTube channel.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'll put that on my socials just so everyone knows where to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really just want to emphasize the point. You do not have to pay for the live feed. So these fake pages pop up, and how they get people is, click on this link to see the live feed for Dead Cow Gully, and then they take people's credit payments. So what's happened in the past is, a grandma's keeping track of her grandson who's competing in Dead Cow, and she just gets caught out with one of these links. So yeah, you do not have to pay for this live stream.
Yep, 100% correct. All right, that's awesome, Tim. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon and following the race.
Cool, safe flight, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Yep, sounds good. See you, Tim.
See ya.
Have a great weekend, everyone, and enjoy your running.